Good day, everyone. I am your teacher for today's discussion. I am Teacher July, and I'm happy to be here towards until the end of the discussion. Let's do this. Okay, before we proceed to our discussion, please stand for the prayer. Good day, everyone. Yes, that's good. Kindly align your chairs properly and pick all the pieces of trash under it, and also kindly keep all your phones and lend your attention to me. Before we proceed to our discussion, let me check our attendance first. Yes. Okay. We're done. Let's do a motivational activity first. Okay. The activity that we are going to do this is the same on what you have watched on TV to the most popular known content. I know that you are familiar. What game is it? Yes, you're right. The title of the game is Unsolved. Okay, are you ready? Yes. Seems like you are ready. Let's start the game. Class, do you enjoy the game? Okay, that's great. But before that, let's have an activity first. The activity that you have undertaken is connected to the lesson that we are going to discuss today. And here are the objectives of our discussion today. The first is identify the key elements of effective lesson design. Second, evaluate the impact of lesson design on students' attitude and values. And the last one, demonstrate understanding of lesson design's principles. And now, let's have an activity. Kindly get one up crosswise sheet of paper, and at the top portion of your paper, write your name, year and course, and date today. After writing all those information, at the middle of your paper or at the center, draw a circle. Yes, a big circle. Draw a big circle. And above the circle, yes, above the circle, write lesson design. Yes, lesson design. And at the center of the circle, write all your insights about lesson design. You only have 3 minutes to finish the activity. Okay, are you done? Okay, let's proceed to the proper discussion. Topic that I am going to discuss today is lesson design or transversal skills. I know that some of you here are still wondering, is it lesson design similar to lesson plan? Yes, I know it's some of you. The answer is no. Lesson design is the flow of the discussion, while lesson plan is the plan itself. It serves as guide on how we are going to do our discussion. That's the difference between lesson design and lesson plan. Let's proceed to the lesson design. Designing lessons is a practice, not a product. Yes, lesson design and designing a lesson is a process, not a product. Just like what I have said earlier, lesson design is the flow of the discussion. Diba? Right? Yes. This complex process requires hard thinking. Lesson plans are a tool for professional discussion. As you gain experience, lesson design becomes faster and more holistic. Lesson design, effective lesson design prioritizes the learner clear goals. Less effective planning stems from convenience or the belief that instructors must cover the material. Outcome-based design or OBD, adapted from Wiggins and Macken, offers an alternative offers an alternative. It emphasizes deliberate intention, efficient time use, alignment with outcomes, and effective student learning support. There are 5 principles for lesson design. The first is, how did my teaching create learning? How did my teacher create learning? That's a big question. The second one is, who am I teaching? Sino tinuturuan ko? And what am I teaching? Sino? Ano ang ituturo ko? And how am I teaching? And that's the fourth, and that is the fourth principle. And the last principle is, how will the learning be assessed? And as a teacher, we need to assess our learners if they already or they learn the discussion that we have done in every discussion or in every session. Let's discuss first the first principle. Who are you teaching? Pupil knowledge. Consider your pupil's age, and abilities, UWL, EEL, and assessment data. What do they already know? How will you find out? Will you find this out? That's pupil knowledge. We need to consider the age of the learners that we have, their abilities, the capabilities of the learners. And with that, through the assessment that we are going to undertake or to give to our learners, and that's the time that that's the time that we can determine if the pupil that we have already learned the discussion that we have conducted. Impact evidence. Collect pupil data before the lesson to show their starting point. And that's true. We need to collect data first from our students for us on when or what or when are we going to start. It's because if we do a discussion without having this assessment to our learners, there might be a possibilities that our learners cannot be learned. It's because we have no idea on what we are teaching, what we are trying to convey to them. It's because they don't know the lesson, and that's the problem. This data should reflect skills, knowledge, and understanding related to the intended learning outcomes. And that is impact evidence. Evidence and impact on pupil progress. Planning documents. Your planning should clearly state that pupils will learn subject knowledge. Audits can show improve your knowledge. And the next one is, how are you teaching? Teaching models. Which teaching models and strategies will work best? Are they subject specific? And that's what we need to do. We need to understand first ourselves. Ask ourselves as a teacher, what strategies is the most effective way to do for our learners to learn? The next one is learning tasks. What learning tasks match your chosen model or strategy? Are these tasks appropriate for your pupils? The next one is lesson structure. How can you structure your lesson to match the needs of your pupils? We need to ensure a clear purpose and process for learning. Understand why you are asking pupils to complete this task. And that's the second principle. How are you teaching? The third one is, how will learning be assessed? Key questions. What are your key questions? Will these questions target specific pupils? Next one is expected responses. What are your expected responses to your pupils? What responses do you expect pupils to give to your questions in class? Next is preempt misconception. Can you preempt possible misconception and how you will deal with them? To manage your teacher presence to gauge understanding and progress, seek feedback on the task. The fourth one is how did my teaching create learning? Learning achieved. Did pupils achieve the intended learning through that task set? Did the pupils achieve your intended learning outcome to the task you have given to them? And that's the learning achieved. The next one is evidence. How do you know? What evidence do you have? And we can see that the learner learned if there is a changes in their mind, or they can participate in the class. And through that participation of your students, you can say, or we can see that there is an evidence and the pupils achieve your intended learning outcome. And the last one is the personal targets. Relate back to your personal targets and consider to what extent you have met them. Reflecting on action. The first is lesson evolution. Your own lesson evaluation is essential evidence. Why? It's because when you evaluate your lesson, that's the time that you evaluate the learners. Why? It's because once you evaluate your learners, once you try to evaluate your learners, if the learners can easily respond to your question, and the learners already learn to your discussion. The next one is observation notes. Include lesson observation notes from formal observation. And the third one is pupil reflection. Evidence of pupils reflecting on their own learning can be included. Let your students reflect, share their thoughts, their feelings, and their insights towards on what they have learned in your discussion. By rehearsing your explanation of your progress with your personal teaching targets, you are developing the reflective behaviors required to move forward. Let's move on to the developing transversal competences through student-centered lessons. This presentation explores how education systems across Australia, Shanghai, Japan, Republic of Korea implement student-centered lesson design to cultivate transversal competences. These competencies include critical thinking, creativity, and communication and collaboration. And that is a life skills. Skills that are essential for 21st century learners. Lessons observed typically follow a structured format split into instruction, development, and conclusion or reflection. Each phase serves a distinct pedagogical purpose, supporting the active engagement and holistic development of the student. Lesson structure and instruction process. Lesson structure and introduction practices. Common lesson format. Most lessons are divided into 3 sections: introduction, development, and conclusion or reflection, promoting systematic learning progression. Introduction activity. Teachers set learning activities and academic content and use engaging activities such as video clips, experiments, or open-ended questioning to spark interest and motivation. Example from Republic of Korea. A 6th grade science class used a video on climate abnormalities as an engaging introduction to frame the lesson's core topic and stimulate student inquiry. Student-centered learning in the development phase. In the Republic of Korea approach, students conduct individual online research, then share findings in groups to prepare multimedia presentations. Follow-up tasks involve prediction and critical thinking related to climate change. While in Shanghai and Japan approaches, both contexts balance individual and group learning. In Shanghai, physics experiments on sound engage students, while in Japanese, students are sticky notes or option. Students use sticky notes for opinion, sharing, and categorization, fostering critical thinking and communication. Fostering transversal competences through collaboration. Let's talk first about the collaboration. Collaboration, small group work encourages synthesis of research, idea sharing, and teamwork essential for interpersonal skills. Creativity, use of multimedia tools, drawings, and imaginative tasks stimulates creative thinking and expression. While in communication skills, students practice presenting their findings and opinions, improving their verbal and non-verbal communication abilities. While in media and information literacy, engaging with digital tools and online research promotes critical evaluation and information sources. Let's talk first about Australia. Australia emphasizes on critical and creative thinking. Introduction with open-ended questions. Teachers pose thought-provoking questions to frame lessons and stimulate independent idea generation. Student choice and autonomy. Students select research topics and collaborators, fostering ownership and engagement. Balanced participation. Teachers employ strategies to ensure equitable contribution during discussion, avoiding domination and vocal students. Reflection and self-assessment. Use of reflection sheets helps students articulate learning progress and provoke feedback to teachers. While in Japan, structured lesson model and reflection. Introduction with question-based objectives. Lesson goals are shared in questions from to engage students and connect prior knowledge. Balance individual and group work. Students individually write opinions on sticky notes and then collaborate to categorize shared ideas, enhancing critical thinking and reasoning. Conclusion and reflection. Students write summaries of their takeaways, sharing insights with peers, supported by teachers, Blackboard summaries. What do you think is the role of teacher? The role of teacher in supporting transversal competences is setting clear objectives. Setting clear objectives, teachers establish lesson aims clearly at the start. Helping students understand expected competences and academic content. Facilitating engagement. Use of diverse tools such as videos, experiments, and digital devices create motivational and authentic learning experiences. Guiding reflection. Teachers leads synthesis and reflection activities that consolidate learning and encourage metacognitive skills. Let's move on to the key takeaways of and implication for educational policies or policy. The first one is lesson structure supports competency development. Clear cases within lessons enhance students' engagement, motivation, and skill acquisition. Next one is the student-centered pedagogies are effective. Balancing individual and group activities promotes critical thinking, creativity, and interpersonal skills. The third one is teacher training as essential. Why? It's because professional development must focus on facilitating student-centered learning and transversal competency cultivation. The last one is policy should encourage innovation practices. Stealing best practices and shared internationally and guide curriculum reforms to prepare students for complex global challenges. And for your activity, kindly get 1/4 sheet of paper and answer this 10-item multiple choice questions. You only have 5 minutes to answer the question. Okay. After we discussion, you have an assignment. Your assignment is I want you to choose a topic and create a detailed lesson plan, and you will submit it next meeting. That's all, and goodbye.